I don't want my doctor seeing me with the cookies. But I doubt he's one of those people who's not going to be looking at the website. Well, I'm an artist who likes a lot of different things, and I'm very, inquisitive, curious person, and so if something intrigues me, I sort of follow it and see where it leads me. What some people know me for, and what I've been developing over the last, 25 years or so, is this project's working with museums, and it's a long story. Hindsight is 20/20, in your life, and I realized the museum and I have sort of been following each other for quite a long time. I went to a lot of museums because I'm from New York City, and my mother was always interested in art, so I went to a lot of museums as a kid. And I took classes at the museum when I was in high school, and so the metropolitan of all museums. And so that big museum has never intimidated me because I've sort of known the inside and outs of it by being in classrooms and other parts of the museum at different times of the day when the museum's closed and such. So I've always felt comfortable in them. So being so comfortable with the place, I noticed all the important things about it, but I also noticed the problems that they had and things that they seemed to be ignoring. It became really important to me to speak about it. And the best way for me to speak as an artist is to make art. Some of the early things that I was doing is making these fake museums, these installations of things that I collected, but seemed like museums if you went into them. So that got noticed, and then after doing it for a number of years, and then real museums started to invite me to sort of do what I did with my own objects in display environments. They invited me to do this in their museum with their actual objects, which was a huge leap of faith in the beginning. But I'm glad they did, and everybody seems to be glad that they did. So it's a very different process than an artist in a studio. When I'm in my studio, it's all within me. It's all things that I'm thinking about within me, and things that bubble up for me are issues that perhaps were deeply buried, or just issues that affect me today. And that's where the work comes from. So it's really great to have both these kinds of work. Glass is a liquid, and it just sort of it just looks like it's solid, which I love that idea. And making these shapes really still looking like a liquid was interesting to me, and sort of blowing up the ink spot, blowing up the drips to that scale. I thought I would just make this one thing and that would be that, but I got really embedded into the whole subject and interest. This is where it got very introspective. I started putting these eyes on them, and I was like, where do these damn eyes come from on these drips? And really it came from my childhood of these cartoons, recycled cartoons from the 40s and 30s, where a black person would be reduced to this inanimate material of ink or tar and or oil, and I just thought, wow, this is still embedded in me, all this kind of stuff that I grew up with, taking in as a kid. And so, that kept me making the work and pushing it out until now. I really don't use the eyes and stuff. I mean, I'm sort of done with that, thinking about that. I'm really interested in other things around oil and as a commodity. Just thinking about them.
Takes a lot of thought.
Yeah, once they're made, I figure out what I'm going to do with them. But the one thing that I'm curious about, which I haven't done yet, I bought a bunch of masks on eBay, and they were all coming in the mail, while we're here. And hopefully, I would like to use these wooden masks as objects to manipulate the glass. Objects that perhaps, if blown on, they would embed some of the image on the from the mask onto the glass For what reason, I don't know. I just want to try it. Coming here afforded me a way to kind of reinvent myself a little bit and push things. Not everything I'll want to use again, but it's a way to sort of kind of visually see things and decide, well, this is a whole other way to start working. For me, it's quite exciting.